Well, I kind of moved to New York without much of a clue what was going on. I was born and raised in Colorado, and I was pretty sick of being around white people. I took one anthro class my freshman year at Brooklyn and pretty much fell in love, and then signed up for just all anthro, just working with Professor Kavanaugh and Professor Antoniello. Professor Haight-Monick was really a wonderful experience. I love being around women that were so badass and smart and wanted to do this important research that they do. And then after I graduated, I didn't have too much direction, and I decided that I wanted to keep learning just because I loved my experience with anthro so much. And so I applied to grad school. It's more social justice oriented, looking at, why are women oppressed across the world? What impact has colonialism had throughout time? What does that look like from an archaeological perspective? Most of my experience and things that I bring to the table at work, I actually learned from Brooklyn College. It gave me a really incredible foundation. I studied abroad with Professor Antoniello in India, which was one of the most important things I think I did during my education. I found the place I work at now, which is called Safe House Progressive Alliance for Nonviolence, and they help survivors of domestic violence. I work at the shelter as an advocate, so I work directly with survivors that are in crisis and kind of trying to get them out of that and give them as much support as we can.
It's really important work that you do. I feel just something that a lot more people, I think, go through than we like to believe or that we like to think, unfortunately. So I'm kind of curious, like when you say that you can apply your knowledge and everything you learned in anthropology, if you could tell me a little bit more about that and how exactly you do that in your current position.
A lot of the anthropology that I focused on was really focused on women and women's experiences, or people who I don't identify as straight men, I suppose is an easier way to
Yeah.
go under that umbrella. Anthropology just kind of like it took the blinders off that I think a lot of people have on trying to see things through somebody else's point of view. And with that, offering them as much help as I possibly can.
Going off on a little tangent, but you mentioned the going abroad with Professor Antoniello and India. What was that experience like?
One of the most formative experiences for me in studying with anthro specifically, because the work that Professor Antoniello is doing in India is so cool and so enriching. People get kind of a wrong perspective about rural India. The people that we were working with they were asking for basic things like saying, everybody's telling us that to keep us from getting sick, we have to wash our hands. Well, to do that, we would need clean water.
Right.
And like, how do we get clean water? You gave us all this soap, but like, how are we going to use it if we don't have water that we can wash our hands in?
That's something else that I love about the anthro department is like, everybody's just so not egocentric and not ethnocentric that like it really does help to have conversations and have these just discussions about things that like I otherwise probably would never have even gotten in touch with or like just maybe not paid attention to as much.
Yeah, totally. One of the things that I remember loving learning was from Professor Kavanaugh's class, and thinking about how language and the way we talk and the way we think shapes how we see the world and view the world. Brooklyn was great. I could go in and talk to anybody anytime. They responded to emails really fast. Not that that's anything, but I appreciated it, and I appreciated the conversations that I had with the professors at Brooklyn very much. They felt like colleagues more so than teachers in a way that was very, very empowering, and I thought very helpful. I had more of an anthropologically informed background in my master's seminar than anybody else did. I felt like I got such a great base for learning anthropology from Brooklyn, because it was all very broad and different topics, but they all offered like very specific primary sources and cool research and things that are going on now and things that happened in the past, which was phenomenal.
And I kind of want to go back. I feel like this whole conversation is kind of answering this question and piecing it together, but for like, what about anthropology made you just like go for it?
It kind of just opened up the door of thinking like, I can study people and see not study people, that sounds wrong, but uh, just the idea of like, who are these people? What are they doing here? What's going on? Study what you want, study something that you love so it doesn't feel like work. I mean, sure, writing an essay is not anybody's favorite thing to do, but when it's a topic that you're passionate about and it's a reading that you really connect with, I mean, it felt so natural and so easy.
And you also said that you bartended for a while. It was after you graduated, so you already kind of had that anthropological perspective.
Mhm.
What was that like in being in the bartending restaurant business after being an anthropology student?
It helped, especially if I was bored or angry. I could kind of turn it into like a little bit of an ethnographic study. So just thinking about bar culture and um, why do bartenders have so much social power? Why does somebody that knows more about wine talk about it in a different way than
Yeah.
somebody that doesn't? Which I loved. And I also must say that bartending gave me a really strong spine, and I don't think I could work in a domestic violence shelter if I had not done that.
I feel like honestly, like anthropology branches into any job you could possibly do because any job you're going to be working with somebody, whether it's like, the most solitary job, you still have coworkers or like, so it is super interesting that way. But
Yeah,
you also find that it like kind of bleeds into other areas of your life.
absolutely. Yeah, I think it's I mean, it's in my head all the time.